Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is Jana with Purple Girl Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pop-up book card. This card, when opened up, the sides pull out so it does look like a book that's on display. This card requires no die cuts. The only die cuts I used were for some of the embellishments. Everything else was just used by regular cardstock and a trimmer. The card lays flat for shipping, and it measures about 5 3/4 by about 4 1/2. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to need is our scoreboard. And our first piece, this is going to be cut at 8 1/2 by 5 3/4. Turn this back on the 8 1/2 inch side and score this at 4 1/4. So that's for the base of the card. We'll put that aside for now. Next, we need 2 pieces, and these are going to be cut at 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. Now we need 2 pieces, and these are going to be cut at 3 by 5 3/4. You're going to turn it back on the 3-inch side, and we are going to score this at 1/2 and 1 1/2. And you're going to do that on both pieces. Now, if you're using directional paper, you want to turn one of them upside down so that the pattern is going the same way. Next, I have one piece, and this is just the top of the paper, the extra piece that you usually throw away. I'm going to use it for my belly band, and that is 12 by 1/2 inch. Then I've got a couple of circles. This one is 2 3/4 diameter. And then I just did a smaller one that's about 2 inches to go on top. So that's all we need the scoreboard for. So the first thing we're going to work on is the punching of the corners. So we're going to round all the corners on the card. So for the base of the card, we're going to round all of them. We are using the punch that I got off of Amazon. I'll put the link at the bottom in the comments. And on the base of the card, we're going to punch all 4 corners. Now, on the 2 pieces that we had put score marks, these are going to be on the inside of the card on the back, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to punch all 4 corners on these 2 pieces. And these are the pieces that are 3 inches wide. For the 2 pieces that are just a little bit bigger, you're only going to punch one side. So you're going to punch the top and the bottom on the longer side, so on the 5 3/4 inch side. You're only going to punch either on the right or the left, and then do that on the both. But make sure if you're using directional paper again, that you're punching the left side and the right side so that if your pattern will line up. Okay, first we're going to start with these. We're going to fold these in half, and you just want to fold it so the pattern paper is in. And then just fold that in half and then score it out. So next you're going to fold that smaller flap, the 1/2 inch, fold it outward like I'm showing you here. But actually when we get to the card making, I realized that they should be folded inward. So you can fold them the same way that I'm folding them here. We will correct it in a minute when we start attaching them to the base of the card. So again, fold it in half and then fold that last flap, and we will correct it in a minute. So on the base of the card, we are going to fold it, and I'm just looking to see what direction I want it to go, but it doesn't really matter when you're folding it. So I'm just going to fold that and crease out that center mark. And then we're going to glue these pieces on. And so as you can see, so now I'm going to turn these and fold them the right way. So they're going to be folded inward. So you want to fold it in half and then fold it one more time. So in half and then just fold it again. So you get this shape. Next, we're going to glue those flaps onto the base of the card. And here I'm just looking to see which way I want them. It doesn't matter on this pattern paper because there's really no pattern to it. So I'm going to grab my glue and we're just going to glue this small 1/2 inch lip. And then we're going to secure that to the wrong side of the card on the base. And then I'm just going to make sure it's lined up. And then press out that glue. And this is what you should have so far. So we're going to take the other one and we're going to glue it to the opposite side. Same thing. It's probably better if you use glue in this instead of tape because you want to make sure that you have a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that you get these edges exactly even. Okay, so mine are now glued down. Next, we're going to work on the back of the card. So the back of the card, the rounded corners are going to be secured to the rounded edge of that 3-inch piece that we did. And they're both going to get glued. And this is the shape of the card when it's closed. So we're going to start just on one of the flaps and we're just going to put glue on the flap. And again, just pick up that piece, make sure that it is even all the way around, lining up your sides and the top, and then secure it in place. So now we're going to do the last piece. So I'm making sure that the glue is on the back of the flap. And then I'm going to glue the pattern paper so the pattern side is out and it lines up with the edge of the card. And that is your basic assembly for the card. It is a very quick and easy card to do. And I like the way it stands because it just gives the flaps, just give it that little extra lever to let it stand up perfectly. Now for the belly band, you could do a wider strip. I'm only going to do the one smaller strip because I really don't think the card needs a belly band. But I decided I wanted to decorate the front, so we were going to do it this way. So I'm just lining this up just to make sure my line is even. And I'm just going to fold this over on one side and kind of push that down. I'm not going to secure it. And lift the other side up. And then tighten it. Now I have taken it off and I just want to make sure these are lined up. I'm going to crease it, but I'm not creasing it all the way. I'm leaving a little bit of fold there. Or bend. I'm not creasing it all the way out. And then I'm just going to take this one end and just cut it just a little bit because we don't need that second end too long. And as I line this up, this is the worst part for me. I hate lining these up because it's like I can't see a straight line sometimes. Okay, so I know how much glue I'm going to put on it. So I'm just going to put my thumb there as a glue guide. I'm going to put glue on there right while it's on the card. Push it down, remove the band, and then secure it better and make sure there's no glue over the edges. So as you can see, it's got it's a little bow, just a little bit, but I don't want it to be too tight for the card. Then I'm going to put it back on. And then I'm going to secure this first circle to the card, or to the belly band. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Just going to use my finger as a guide, know that I'm going to go to that little bit of yellow. So I'm just going to put glue on this band. Again, I'm going to do it while it's on the card. I'm going to push that band down. I'm going to take this off of the card so I can make sure that there is no glue over the edges, and I do have a little bit. So I'm just going to use my rubber eraser and just clean up some of that glue. Then I'm going to take that top circle and I'm just going to place that just right in the center. Again, this card really doesn't need a belly band. I just wanted something on the front of the card and I didn't want to do any extra embellishments on the card. This is a great way to add just a little bit of extra without decorating. Okay, so next we're going to work on the inside of the card. So this is where I did some Let's Hang Out, and I just did 2 little banners, and I've got some paw prints on them, and I Miss You. And then I've got my little doggies, and I've got some roasted marshmallows of little fire. So I'm going to start with a fire, and I realized as I was doing this, I paused the video to grab something, and I didn't turn the video back on. So I got further along than I realized. So most of this has already been put down. But you can take this card and you can embellish it any way. You can do birthday, you can do Christmas, you could do Easter, you could do any kind of season that you wanted. And on the front of the belly band, I'm going to put one more of the sticks and the marshmallows. Now for this side, I'm going to put the Let's Hang Out. And since neither of these are the same size, I decided I was going to let it go over the edge and then I'm just going to cut it off. So I'm just going to glue these down. I'm just making sure the words fit, and then I'm just going to glue it. So I'm just holding this down just so I can figure out where I want my glue to go on the one edge. And then I'm just going to put glue on here. I'm going to line it up so the Let's Hang Out is still on the side of the card, and I'm just going to cut off those excess pieces. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut this off just up to the side of the card. And then I'll do the same thing for I Miss You on the other side of the card. Just lining it up, making sure that the paws are still on the card. So I'm just kind of gluing that down, making sure there's no glue. And again, I'm just going to cut this off. You see, I cut my card just a little bit too much. Cut just a little piece of the card off. Darn it. Okay, there you go. That looks good. Now for the front of the card, like I said, I'm going to put the marshmallows. So I took a gray marker and I just did some shadow on the marshmallows. And then I'm just going to glue them to the stick. I'm barely putting any glue in here because this glue is really strong. And I want the stick to stick out just a little bit outside of the marshmallow on the one. And on the top one, I'll just put it off to the side just a little bit. And that'll just be the centerpiece for the front of the card. So I'm just going to dot some glue in here. I'm not going to use a lot of glue. I'm just going to put dots. And then we'll glue that down to the center. maybe at an angle just a little bit. And that's for your embellishment on the front of the card. And that is it. That is the card that we made today. It's very quick. It's very easy. I would love to see what kind of card you make with this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Until next time, happy crafting. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.